Welcome back. There's no doubt that the NNPC rots and stinks of corruption. In fact, it is best known by many as corruption seats of the nation. Before now, it served mostly as the ATM of a few politicians and their cronies rather than the wealth bank of the nation. Many called for a state of emergency in the sector because of its apparent decay. So when President Muhammadu Buhari appointed himself as the Minister of Petroleum in 2015, it was welcomed by most Nigerians considering his integrity ratings. But the latest scandal that has rocked the corporation for the past weeks and the president's long silence brought his integrity under public scrutiny. Now, former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Ona Kakanfo, has asked the court to sack President Buhari as a petroleum minister. Does Agbakoba have the locus standi? Does he have a point that he's trying to prove? Jide? Yeah. Ona Agbakoba, 2 weeks ago, or last week, actually went to court to challenge the composition of the NNPC board because he said it fell short of recommendation of the federal character. And when you look at the way the names that pops up when that board was formed, so he has got that one is pending in court. More so, he's saying that, Mr. President, no, it is wrong. Since you didn't go through the National Assembly, since you are the president, since you weren't screened for this position, for that fact that Olusegun Obasanjo introduced this in 1999 does not make it right. If you remember, Olusegun Obasanjo was sometimes they would put Funsho Kukpo there, sometimes it was Gay or Sebaseki, and another time Edmond Dakro, but he was the one supervising it, but the GMD of NNPC, they were the one reporting to him directly. We never had petroleum minister. It was a dual position. Now, President Buhari has taken, that same lane. So, do you think Ona Agbakoba is on a wild goose chase?
I think he's going to lose the case. From all checks that I have made, I think he's going to lose this case. I will go for exactly what Femi Falana-San suggested, which was what we suggested, that the president should on his own give up that position. Taking him to court will not achieve the aim because Agbakoba will lose. You see, Section 5, subsection 1 of the Constitution says, subject to the provisions of this Constitution, the executive powers of the Federation shall be vested in the President and may subject, as aforesaid, and to the provision of any law made by the National Assembly be exercised by him either directly or through the Vice President and ministers of the government of the Federation or officers in the public service. So what this is saying is that the President can delegate. When the law says that the executive powers of the Federation have been given to him, it means that he can occupy any of those positions, apart from the Attorney General, the position of Attorney General of the Federation.
Which was mentioned in the Constitution.
There is no ministerial position that the Constitution recognizes. So the President can choose to exercise that position.
To be a finance minister.
Or delegate. You cannot take a man to court, for example, because he refused to delegate. When the same Constitution vests in him, has vested in him the executive powers. So in this case, he is going to lose. When he's talking about Section 138 of the Constitution, which says that the President shall not hold any other executive position, what that section envisages is a situation in which the President, before he became President, must give up maybe his job as someone working in any of the MDAs, or even as local government chairman, or even as governor. What that section says that he cannot hold both positions. You know? So laws are subject to interpretation. It can easily be interpreted that that is what that provision, the section 138 envisages, that so that the president cannot, as president, hold on to positions like maybe chairman of a local government, executive secretary in one of the MDAs and all that, and still be president. But I also did not hear the president announce himself officially as Minister of Petroleum. So if he never announced himself as Minister of Petroleum,
Really?
did you hear at any time that the president publicly said, I'm the Minister of Petroleum?
I thought during the inauguration, the Federal Executive Council.
No, the inauguration, right?
When you are sure of that?
I can't.
No,
I can't
there
say.
was no announcement. The only announcement
If
was
he did not announce it,
Ibe Kasuku was announced
as
Minister of State.
So if he didn't announce
So
himself,
that position is not there.
if he didn't announce himself, the case will be dismissed. Because you cannot, if a man didn't say, oh, I'm the Minister of Petroleum, and you file a case in court purporting that he is the Minister of Petroleum, that case is dead on arrival.
That means you'll be called busybody.
That's the thing. That's the way the law. That's the way the law
Notice
functions.
judges. That's the way they. MJ.
The lawyers will tell you, I love this particular their caption, the way they put it, says reps is ipsa loquitur. The
fact on ground speaks for itself.
In this case, I doubt if the facts can speak for itself for our learned son, who has put in more than 40 years at the
Struggle, activism,
at the bar. So the Section 38 is talking about that. And the Section 38 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, states that the president cannot hold any other position or payable employment apart from the president. So the ministerial that Agbakoba is talking about, like Jide said, when was it pronounced that Buhari is Minister of Petroleum Resources? The only pronouncement we have is that of the Minister of State. So if you check the cabinet list, you won't see minister or senior minister of Petroleum Resources, Muhammad Buhari. You won't see it there. And now, another thing is that even if the case goes to court, the president has immunity. You cannot sue him, he can't be sued. And he cannot also sue. Now, but it was clever by joining the Attorney General Minister of Justice, Malami, as the respondent in this suit. But then, he also referred to Section 147, subsection 2 of the same 1999 Constitution, which stipulates that anybody who is to be pronounced as a minister of the Federal Republic must be screened by the Senate of the National Assembly. That's what that section says. But then, like Jide also said, when was the name of Muhammadu Buhari, the president, put forward as a minister? Or when was he pronounced as minister for the Ministry of we are just assuming that because it happened during the Obasanjo era, where we had a Minister of State, and Obasanjo was acting as the substantive minister.
Because I don't. Okay, Obedience is calling us.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Obedience.
Thank you for
joining us.
Enlightenment and program.
All right.
Today is my first time to call in.
Okay.
Welcome.
You're
I
welcome.
want to contribute.
Okay, go ahead, Obedience.
I notice the problem we have in our country is selfishness. For you being the president and double as the Minister of Petroleum, are we saying we don't have anybody that have the integrity to have that position? And to me, I feel it's selfishness. So my contribution here, please, usually of course, the president should give out that position because someone can handle that position, capable to handle this position.
Thank you, Obedience. Thank you for your contribution. Asuko.
Exactly. You know, the thing is, since the president didn't come out expressly to say he's the Minister of Petroleum, we all assume that he is the Minister of Petroleum. I remember vividly that period. He mentioned Ibe Kachuku as the Minister of State Petroleum. And then everywhere was just, okay, who is going to be the Minister for Petroleum? But eventually, he didn't mention.
We're sure.
I think he didn't mention.
We check the records
because we
now.
need to
There's
check
no
the
place
record
that the
where
President Buhari
said,
himself.
I am the one that's going to.
Somebody said, somebody sent me a message that he actually pronounced himself as a
Minister for
Petroleum. That's what somebody said.
During
we need to see the visuals.
Swearing of ministers.
We need to check the visuals again.
Okay.
Because it's not enough officially. Officially is different from merely
pronouncing. Because officially is supposed to go through the Senate.
So which record of that?
And which I am very sure that even if he pronounced himself as the minister, everybody would have known. And then maybe, but just like Femi Falana said, I think the best thing is the workload is too much. If the president can, leave that.
So unbundle the president.
Let him just allow, so that there will be peace. But I don't know. Agbakoba, a fine lawyer, son. When those days,
campaign for democracy.
Campaign for democracy. Then we used the man is so passionate about Nigeria. I feel him. But the problem is this particular case that he wants to go. I'm not sure he can win that case because I've been able to, yes, you see CLO too. I've been able to look through some of. I don't know.
It's even CLO. It's even CLO.
I've been able
for democracy.
I've been able to look at some of his prayers. I don't know.
First president of CLO.
One of the prayers is that the crisis between Kachuku and Baru will affect the country's revenue capacity. He has to prove that. And also that the crisis will affect the development in the country. These are things that once you get to the court, you have to show evidence that this thing is going to affect the revenue. And this thing is
substantive matter is matter of the president.
He's a very tall and I don't know.
Alaafin is calling us from Lagos, Babaji. Alaafin is calling us from Lagos.
Yeah.
Thank you, Femi. Good evening, Femi.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate your debate. I want to say concerning those people. Hello?
Yes, Femi, you're on.
Yeah, those people that are calling that the president should relegate that post and should appoint another person as a minister. Even some people are saying that even the three portfolio that former governor Fashola is sorry that they should spread it But in the section of this government, it was agreed that the numbers of officials being paid are too many, and they should reduce the workforce. And those people that are being paid, that they should reduce the numbers of ministers, they should reduce the so. Then when people are still calling that they should appoint a minister of a substantive minister for petroleum, and they should split, they should relieve former governor Fashola, the other two portfolio that is holding, they should give it to another person. Are we not going back to where we were before, when people are complaining that the workforce are too many?
Thank you, Femi. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. So, reaching out
I'm going to say that, look, Section 147 vests the responsibility for establishing those offices in the president.
Okay.
He can choose to establish, including ministerial positions and all. He can choose to exercise those functions because the Constitution already gives him power over executive powers. So he can choose to, by himself, keep that portion of his executive powers or decide to give someone else. So when we are even talking about that the president cannot hold any other executive position, that has nothing to do with executive powers that he already holds. You understand? That has nothing to do with executive powers that he already holds. He already holds executive powers now, which enables him to be able to appoint ministers and put them in different positions. But powers outside of that are the ones that we are talking about. You can choose to hold on to that position, just as Section 5 has said.
All right. The myths, moving on. The myths surrounding the title Aare Ona Kakanfo. Aare Ona Kakanfo sends shivers down the spines of nominees penned down for the position across Yoruba land. That name literally means war leader of the Yoruba race. Fear of what is likely to become of them after assuming such daring position ensured the vacuum remained for years. 19 long years rolled by after the deaths of the last Aare Ona Kakanfo. But the quest for his replacement is finally over. Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Lamidi Adeyemi Ikubabayeye, named Otumba Gani Adams the new Aare Ona Kakanfo of Yoruba land. But does that cap fit the OPC strongman? Is it truly in the class of great men who once held that title? MJ, Ladoke Agitola was the one before MKO Abiola.
If Latosa, Aare Latosa, is not
Latosa.
No, it's not Latosa. It is Latosa.
Latosa.
Yes, but people call it Latosa. But then, if he had been the last Aare Ona Kakanfo, we would have said, fine, Gani Adam cannot fit into that shoe or cannot wear that cap. But then, recall that Akintola SLA became Aare Ona Kakanfo because he was premier of the Western region. Abiola MKO, was he a warrior? Became Aare Ona Kakanfo because of his philanthropist activity. So, for Otumba Gani Adams, he became Aare Ona Kakanfo after the Oyomesis consulted and gave Alaafin of Oyo their recommendation, which he endorsed. And from what we've been hearing about Otumba Gani Adams, I mean, he has been championing the cause of the Yoruba race. Age is not even an issue here. Fine is 47, but then even Alaafin of Oyo became the Alaafin of Oyo before the age of 30, at about 25 or 26. He became the Alaafin of Oyo. So he's eminently and duly qualified to occupy that position. And over time, you can recall what Asiwaju Bola Tinubu said in his congratulatory letter to both the Alaafin and the incoming Aare Ona Kakanfo. It's not an issue of age or being a warrior, but then this is somebody who, since 1999, has been championing the cause of the Yoruba race in terms of our culture and heritage. In terms of, he's been sponsoring this the Olokun Festival, which has grown to international status. Then he has set up the Odua Progressive Union, OPU, in 78 countries.
Yeah,
and that's on Facebook. That's the international chapter. The local wing is the Odua People's Congress, and the Yoruba people. I mean, even Freddy Fashion, is in sync with this appointment, who is supposed to be his enemy. So I think Alaafin of Oyo, in his wisdom as a custodian of Yoruba tradition, because if you hear the history of Yoruba from Alaafin of Oyo, you will know that this man actually knows history and is what is sought. And I think he should be commended for taking that decision. It's a repository of culture.
Babajide, I want us to look at the antecedent of Otumba Gani Adams. How did he get here? And a lot of people just look at yesterday before that it was just a product of the post-June 12 crisis.
Yes. Yes, of course, even Freddy Fashion became popular in the aftermath of the June 12 crisis. And Gani Adams has paid his dues. No doubt about it. I've read some ridiculous stuff on Facebook. Some of it by people who are not Yorubas, who are trying to determine for Yorubas.
More Catholic than the Pope.
You see, people who are not Yorubas asking questions about a title that they know nothing about. These is the Akikonjus, the warriors. And you can't tell me that in this modern age that Gani Adams has not shown that he's a warrior. Even look at even this case in Ikorodu. These boys murdering people at night.
The police had to invite him.
They had to invite him.
Yes.
And the moment, we challenged him here.
Yes.
On this program, we challenged Gani Adams that he should wade into that crisis.
The Bado stuff.
Yes.
And within 48 hours, the police reached out to him, and Gani Adams and his boys went to Ikorodu. And since that time, this whole thing has died down. So, and let's not even forget, around 1999, 2000, when armed robbery became such a big problem in Lagos.
So streets by streets.
Gani Adams faction
virtually
of the OPC
was giving Lagos Southwest.
dealt with the problem.
Security.
So this guy has been a good representative of the Yoruba people.
If you remember, if they mention
He has
OPC
been
now,
a
it's synonymous with
repository.
security.
Yeah,
Yes.
Go and take OPC.
Yeah.
Go and call OPC. Any streets.
Yes.
We have
He
two
has even
OPC.
restored the pride. You see, in the past, when they look at the Yoruba one, they will say they are cowards. Gani Adams, in Lagos especially, showed that the Yoruba people can actually be very courageous. So that you can no longer say, so Yorubas, they run away from fight, they are cowards. He showed that that is not true. I am not preaching violence. But you can see that where violence as represented by drug addicts, as represented by armed robbers, became a problem in this part of the country, Gani Adams stepped forward to be counted. And his boys put down the problem at that time. So the Aare Ona Kakanfo title, there is nowhere it is written that it has to be someone from a wealthy family. That you must be above 60 years, that you must be above 70 years, that you must be a billionaire.
It is
For so many people who are there who could have taken this position, a lot of them are very devoted Muslims, very devoted Christians. The rights that should go with the installation of an Aare Ona Kakanfo, many of them are not even qualified. Many of the people that are the critics on Facebook and other places would want to take this title are not even qualified to go through those rights. So they can't say that Gani, who has shown himself to be a repository of our culture, to be a cultural ambassador of Nigeria, of the Yoruba race, is not fit to occupy this position. Where did who told them that, who made them a judge in this matter? This is not a reality show. It's not a reality show where some judges will sit down and say, "Oh, faculty, what is your view?"
and it is not a position where you need to go and vote or
no, honestly, I think
bribe anybody.
I think it's just at the prerogative of Ikubabayi.
Yeah.
You see the thing, another thing that people are saying, that I saw one ridiculous post on Facebook that someone said, he took the Yorubas to the PDP. And I said, look, even when you look at the 2015 election, the Yorubas were divided.
Yes.
So it wasn't as if the APC had an overwhelming... Look, even in Ogun State here, and even Lagos, what is the margin of the victory?
That is it.
What is the margin of the victory? In both states, there is no... I think even Lagos was around 100,000.
About 150,000.
Around 150 or so. And in Ogun State, a little over 100 too. If it was, yes, around a little over 100. So it showed that there was balance. Some of our people wanted PDP. Some of our people wanted APC. So if Gani on his own chose to support the PDP, how does that disqualify him from a traditional title that has nothing to do with politics.
Even supported Jonathan because he promised Jonathan 6 million votes. But then we knew what happened. There was this pipeline issue. But the young man was smart enough.
Well, I don't think he right now he has risen.
Yes,
but right now I think he would have risen above partisan
politics. Even he said he made a statement while accepting this offer. He said this new title will moderate his radicalism, which is very key.
Yeah, I've been chance to meet Gani Adams, and
having grown up in the Southwest.
Exactly, I was born in the Southwest.
So
I was born in the Southwest, and I know everything about the Aare because I read history too. And Gani Adams fits this cap perfectly well because he's courageous, he's fearless, just like my boss just said now. I've seen a couple of times where there will be violence in somewhere around. I know my auntie used to say somewhere around the Ikotun. And when once OPC gets there, the peace and tranquil in that area in fact, the way they do it, I don't even know, but I know that is the action and that is the things they've been able to do. He has this courage. He's fearless.
Yes.
And so that is that title really fits him.
Yes.
And thank God.
It's originally meant for warriors.
It's for warriors. It's not for politicians.
It's not for politicians.
It's not for people to come and begin to say, okay, somebody has to vote for me. No. It's someone that can always stand out and fight for his people. And he has been able to do that.
He's passionate about the Yoruba race.
I tell you, because if you look at that Oloku festival, it has been going on for years.
It
has been going on for years. And people have been attending, and it has now gone beyond even him. So,
he has even found a way to bring youths into that young people.
Exactly.
By organizing beauty contests.
Exactly. So you won't say it is fetish in quotes. No, because so many youth are into it now.
They are saying it's a draw. Some are saying it's a school dropout.
No, you see, that is the problem.
This is the problem with us. That
is the problem.
The former president of Brazil was a cobbler now. Must everybody be a PhD holder?
For those that are PhD holders,
the last time he came to
he has even gone to last.
Exactly. The last time he came to the studio here.
Yeah.
So many people were saying, how is he going to speak?
Do you
know, he wowed us. Everybody. We were just spellbound over the Bado matter because the way he detailed everything and how they were able to quell the crisis in Ikorodu was amazing. So this is the person that fits that cap of the Aare in Yoruba land.
Jide is from Arigidi, Akoko in Ondo States. I think if I get my facts right, but the bottom line is that key leaders in the Yoruba, we've been getting reactions.
Somebody even said both of his names are not Yoruba names. One is Arabic name, the other one is... We've gotten reactions from some key Yoruba leaders, and it has been positive so far. Yes. Have you seen any dissenting voice in Yoruba race? Let me tell you, when people are considering who should actually hold that position, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is one name that comes to mind. Exactly. But clearly, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not interested in that title. But he has given his support to the person who has been chosen. Even Fayose once said that the authentic leader of the Yoruba race at this time is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You conducted that interview, if you remember. Said it's Asiwaju, and that it's not just Asiwaju of Lagos, it's the Asiwaju of Yoruba land. Exactly. So Asiwaju, by congratulating the young man, has given a seal of approval.
Exactly.
Honestly.
So those abusing the guy and calling him names do not even have the locus to do that. They don't have the locus. It's not in your place to choose someone to occupy a top traditional title in Yoruba land.
MJ, your parting shots?
Yes, I think it's just to congratulate the new Aare Ona Kakanfo, Aare Otumba Gani Adams. And I know you recall that he also has 52. He has 52 other chieftaincy titles all across Nigeria, not only Yoruba land.
Yes.
So congrats to him.
Yes, so because you know what, I can sleep easy. With OPC around us, you can sleep easy.
Okay, in collaboration with the police.
Yeah, exactly.
I think on behalf of the crew of journalists Hangout, we say congratulations to Otumba Gani Adams, the new Aare Ona Kakanfo of Yoruba race. And that's all on Journalist Hangout. I want to thank you, Asuko James, Moji Jamiu, and Babajide Ositoju. Just watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. on this platforms. You can watch it 11 p.m. on DSTV 418, GoTV 45. And our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcontinental.tv. I'm Ayodele Ozuba. See you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.